It is Self-Care Sunday, peoples. Welcome, welcome. Tonight we are talking about mushrooms. Just wait a minute. I know what you're thinking. Not quite those kind of mushrooms. And although the mushrooms we're talking about are very magical in their own way, they are more medicinally magical. So we're talking about, well, did you know that the planet produces over 1,500 types of mushrooms? There's only a handful that are actually available that have the healing properties that we're going to talk about tonight. But actually, what I learned today through Kate was that our DNA is the closest to fungi, more so than plants. So this is what we are talking about tonight, and we're going to cover six types of mushrooms feel would be ideal for you to incorporate into your daily lifestyle. And Kate, who is our in-house naturopathic nutritionist, is going to talk to us about why these things need to be in your life, what the benefits will be, how you ought to take them, in what form, with what. Kate is the lady with all the answers. Kate, how are you doing? All the way from Dubai. I always forget to mention to our guys that you're actually tuning in all the way from Dubai. So we have a global call going on, which is amazing. And I was just letting people know as they're jumping on that we're talking about mushrooms. And it's so funny because as soon as I mentioned mushrooms, even on my stories, everyone was like, oh, magic mushrooms. And I was like, well, actually, these mushrooms really are magical, but in a very medicinal kind of way. And I'm sure sometimes the other mushrooms have their benefits, but I can't say that I've tried them myself. So I will hold any judgment on that and any judgment on anybody. So I'm just going to just let people know that we've got Kate Fenley here, who actually is, she's a supplementation expert. She's a naturopathic nutritionist. She lives out in Dubai. She's living life and loving it. And she is our Thinking Deeper expert in all things supplements. So let's kick off, Kate. So I know we're going to try and keep these Sunday calls to a strict 30 minutes because I know it's late over there for you. So we appreciate you spending this time and sharing your knowledge. If we start off with, let's just talk about mushrooms generally. I mean, there's quite a lot, but just in the world of medicinal mushrooms, how many mushrooms are we talking about that people would benefit from?
Yeah, the mainstream ones now, there's six medicinal mushrooms that have become quite mainstream and have got some really solid scientific evidence behind them for their proven health benefits and such. And it's great to see that the six main mushrooms that you can get now in supplement form, you know, there's some really high quality ones available. So people can expect to see great health benefits from taking those because I mean, mushrooms have been around for 5,000 years.
Well, this is the interesting thing, right? This is such an ancient tradition. It's been in like the old scriptures. I know even on our kind of Hindu side, they talk about, we don't have mushrooms, but they do talk about the medicinal properties of mushrooms. So it's just interesting. And this is why we cover these topical things, because we want to kind of stay ahead of the game. It's becoming a bit of a craze now to use mushrooms as a means of supplementation for all sorts of things. So shall we kick off with the first one that you want to talk to us about?
Yeah, what I'll do, I'll go through each of the six quite briefly. I'll spend just a couple of minutes on each, and it'll just help give people some guidance if they're feeling a bit overwhelmed as to where to start. What each of the six mushrooms is best known for, and one of the reasons we as humans tend to see such powerful health benefits with mushrooms is we actually share more of our DNA with mushrooms than we do plants, and they're, because they live in the wild mushrooms, they have they're very good at fighting off pathogens. And that's why traditionally mushrooms are thought as a really strong immune tonic, which they are, but I'll talk about some other benefits as well. And they're particularly high in a polysaccharide known as beta-glucan. So beta-glucan found in porridge oats tend to be the beta-glucans that help lower cholesterol. whereas the form of beta-glucans we find in medicinal mushrooms are more immune boosting properties.
Okay.
So this, I'll just give you the names of all 6, and then I'll go through each one individually. So we've got Chaga mushroom, we've got Cordyceps, we've got Maitake, we've got Reishi, we've got lion's mane, and we've got Shiitake. Some are edible, so a lot of people may have eaten Maitake mushrooms. Others, like Chaga, they're like wood. They would not be on your plate in any shape or form. And so, but yeah, I'll start going through them individually. I've just seen a question here. Will you mention why sigmatic is not clean, Hasley? Yeah, I'll go on to questions as well at the end. So,
and also, just to say, Kate, if anybody is, and I nearly said taking mushrooms, and I just realised that sounds all wrong, so I'll rewind that bit. If anybody is using any form of mushroom supplementation as part of their protocol, share that with us as well, and let us know what it is that you use and why you use it and what it makes you do, because that's also important that, you know, we use the people that are on the call share their experiences with us, as well as the experts tell us what they know. So yeah, do go ahead.
Yeah, super. So the first mushroom I'll start with is Chaga. Chaga mushroom is known as the king of mushrooms. It's also known as the diamond of the woods. And what's quite unique about Chaga is it grows on the birch tree traditionally.
Wow.
This is what gives Chaga many health benefits, because it lives in harmony with the birch tree. They actually they support the living and the thriving of each one. So although the Chaga mushroom is filled with nutrients, which I'll go on to, it also extracts additional nutrients from the birch tree. So that's buying a Chaga
double whammy.
Yeah, exactly, because there's so much goodness, like betulinic acid in birch trees, which I'll go on to, which is very anti-inflammatory. But that's why when you're selecting a Chaga supplement, it's better to go for a wild organic Chaga that's grown from the birch tree, because if the Chaga's been grown on oats in a laboratory, which some companies do, it will have a much lower nutritional profile, because it's not got the additional benefits of the birch tree.
And you know all about that, Kate, because you have a pharmaceutical background. So, guys, she's not joking. She's been in that environment. She knows what really happens. Okay.
So Chaga, there's 3 things that Chaga's very well known for: immunity, skin, and antioxidants. So some people on the call may be familiar with the ORAC scale. It's more well known in America, and it's how we test the antioxidant profile or density of certain foods and supplements. And blueberries and acai and goji berries are known to be, like, you know, at the top of the tree. Chaga blows them out the water. Chaga scale, even compared to wild blueberries, goji berries, Amazonian grown acai, which is it's almost a blackberry deep in the Amazonian rainforest. Chaga is still way higher than that. It's also rich in melanin, so it helps naturally protect the skin from UV damage. Which explains why in China and Asia they sip Chaga tea, because they say it keeps them youthful and it prevents age spots. And the age
there you go, you guys. You heard it here first. This is an anti-aging coup. You need to go get it.
So I'm actually having every day at the moment a chat. I suppose everyone maybe on the call familiar with turmeric lattes. I've got a Chaga turmeric latte just because it's getting so hot here at the moment. So I'm just giving my skin that extra protection against the sun. So yes, so really good for naturally protecting your skin from the sun and preventing age spots. And the third one is immunity. And there's something really unique about Chaga that's worth mentioning. And it's that we have a 2-stage immune system. And what the beta-glucans do in Chaga, if there's a pathogenic bacteria in the body, the first stage immune response of the chaga mushroom will identify whether the pathogenic bacteria is harmless or not harmless. Because we have bacteria in the body that's good bacteria that we need, and we have harmful bacteria that's pathogenic bacteria. And what like the first stage response of the immune system with chaga mushroom will do, it almost puts like a cross on pathogenic bacteria in the body, which then tells the second stage immune system whether to leave the bacteria alone or whether to kill it. So that's why chaga's been known to be really powerful for protecting the body from harmful pathogens.
It's a technical mushroom, this one.
Yeah. Well,
it knows its shit.
It knows, while maintaining balance in the body. So, like, from my pharmaceutical background, when antibiotics were prescribed, they go in and I say an antibiotic is like a nuclear bomb. It doesn't identify the good from the bad. So it just goes in and clears everything out. The beauty of chaga mushroom is it goes in and it identifies what is the pathogenic bacteria that needs to be destroyed to support the immune system, but what is the non-harmful bacteria that our body actually needs to keep our microbiome healthy. So
it's very bespoke.
Yes, yeah, and it is. And I think the reason chaga is known as the king of the mushrooms is it has it also draws betulinic acid from the birch tree, which is incredible anti-inflammatory properties. And my hands are a bit tied on what I can say on these calls, but it has got a reputation in Asia for being very good for chronic illnesses, and that's largely to do with the additional health properties of the betulinic acid that it takes from the birch tree. But just to summarise, because I'm conscious I want to keep all 6 mushrooms in the call. Chaga mushroom, king of the mushrooms, incredibly anti-inflammatory, really good for protecting the youthfulness of skin and protecting skin from the sun, and also a very robust immune supporting properties to it as well.
Amazing. We'll allow chaga mushrooms to take a bit of the stage because obviously it's the king, so that's good. We'll give
in Russia, they see chaga mushroom as a winter tonic, as a really good mushroom to take throughout the winter. And recent studies have shown its effectiveness for psoriasis.
Wow.
And there was a study done in Russia where people took the equivalent of like the chaga supplements I work with, like 2 grams of the powder, for a 9 to 12 week trial, and 76% of the people in the clinical trial eradicated psoriasis through use of chaga mushroom. So definitely something worth considering for people who may struggle with psoriasis as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like the key one with that one is skin related, and it looks at it's almost like a soldier goes in and fights with the bad and just looks after the good. So yes, one to definitely have in your locker. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next one is Cordyceps. So with Cordyceps,
this is big now, isn't it? Cordyceps. I don't know about you guys, but everywhere I look right now, there is some kind of mention of Cordyceps somewhere. It's related to coffee. It's related to just other stuff that it's mixing with. But it seems to be like the new wannabe king.
And you know, and it's a really good time for Cordyceps to get its highlight, if you will, because it's really good for respiratory action and people recovering from illness. So that's like what's called, COVID.
So great for COVID sufferers or people that have had COVID and recovering from it.
Yeah, but predominantly it's known as a performance-enhancing, strengthening stamina tonic. It really came to like public recognition, if you will, in 1993. When a lot of Chinese competitors broke a lot of athletic and track records at the Olympics, and they stepped down to their daily intake of Cordyceps. So it's really good for improving your aerobic capacity, your cardiovascular strength. So it's good as a pre-workout mushroom.
I was just going to say, yeah. So
yeah, and also post-workout, because it also enhances recovery. So, yeah, think of Cordyceps as a strengthening tonic for enhancing sports performance, improving cardiovascular performance, improving respiratory action, a strengthening tonic if you've been poorly, you're recovering from any form of illness. Very, very good for fertility in men and women. So anyone who's Steve, it works.
And what form do these take? They're in a powder form, I'm assuming. Can you get them in any kind of liquid form?
Yeah, there are a number of mushroom tinctures coming onto the market. The most common ones at the moment that I have on my website are capsules, powders, and also drinks. I've got a number of mushroom lattes and mushroom coffees on the website, and they all contain a therapeutic dose. So yeah, so that
amazing. I think that makes it easier then, doesn't it? Because I think to think about, I mean, I drink lion's mane in the morning, and it's a very chalky kind of drink. So if you have something that's incorporated into you know, a coffee or something that you can drink, a latte that you can drink, then I think that just makes things much easier. Tina, I'll mention the website right at the end, so you'll get the details, and it'll be on the actual post as well. So don't worry, you will not miss out. Thinking Deeper followers have got an in there, so you get special benefits for doing this, because we're collaborating. So this is the whole idea, is showing the world the light to the amazing natural things that we have in our world that we should be using, instead of all the chemical shite that unfortunately we believe is the only way to live. Okay.
So Cordyceps, so yeah, I think strengthening tonic for sport, respiratory tonic, recovering from illness. It's also very good for the elderly as well, Cordyceps, if they need something, and kidney function as well. A lot of scientific trials have been done with Cordyceps for improving kidney function. But yeah, I think what's the emperor's mushroom, that's what Cordyceps is known as. So quite a vital performance enhancing Cordyceps.
I'm loving all these superhero titles that they have as their alter egos. You know, the king mushroom is Chaga, and you know, the emperor.
So the next one, which is lion's mane, that's known as the mountain priest.
Oh, not quite what I expected, but there you go.
So this one is really renowned for cognitive function. Lion's mane is great to take early in the day to make you more switched on mentally. For neurodegenerative diseases, you know, a number of trials have been done with lion's mane for Alzheimer's and dementia. Great for students who are studying. Great for people in mentally challenging jobs, because lion's mane is just shown to make you a lot sharper mentally. And in the supplements market, there's a real increase in demand at the moment for brain supplements.
Yes.
Interesting. So, and I think that's...
Well, it's because we've got so much distraction all the time. Our brains are overworking, aren't they? Because we're spending so much more time on technology. You know, we're exposed to so much more free radicals nonsense. We're also constantly just on the go, so we're eating a lot more shit than we should do, really. So I can see why there is a massive demand now. And I have to say, being someone that takes lion's mane, it does make a difference. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, I religiously drink it every single day, and it's not the best, like I said, because it's quite chalky, because it is in a powder form, and I put it into my smoothies. But on the odd occasion, particularly recently, as I've had a bit of a flu going on, I literally have drank it, you know, just in warm water with some honey, some turmeric, a little bit of MCT oil, and some ginger, just to, you know, knock it back. With a bit of neem. You know, I'm a big fan of neem. But yeah, you know, whilst I've been drinking it, I definitely do see the difference, because I don't know what it is. It's almost like you get a kind of different kind of focus. You know, your mind is clearer in what you're thinking, particularly like when you're planning, or if you're doing strategy, or if you're just kind of talking to people, you're listening better, I find, with the lion's mane.
Yeah, and it's pretty instant. And Buddhist monks have used it for centuries for enhancing focus for their deep meditations. So yeah, so
it's meant to be. What about just whilst we're on this, what about ADHD? Does it help people with ADHD?
I'll go. It is known to be ADHD. People tend to lack focus. So lion's mane is great for people struggling with ADHD because they can't keep that concentration and focus.
Yeah.
If they've got an overstimulated mind, then reishi is more suited.
Yeah, you want a calming one, don't you then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's also worth noting with lion's mane, because this is huge now, anxiety and low mood, lion's mane is shown to be really effective for, and fast acting. And also the menopause is a huge hype with Davina's program. Yeah. It's shown to be really good when people tend to struggle with brain fog, anxiety and low mood with the menopause. So again, lion's mane is really, really good one for that as well.
Okay, so we've covered Chaga being the king of all mushrooms. We've then covered the emperor, which was
the cordyceps, so like
cordyceps. Just
yeah.
testing you. And now we've just covered the priest, which is the lion's mane.
Exactly.
Okay, what are we on to with the next one?
The next one we're on to is the dancing mushrooms.
Wow, this is my kind of mushroom.
If I was a mushroom, I'd be this one. So this is Maitake.
Oh, I seem to have lost your sound. Oh, wait, you're back.
It's known as the dancing.
Maitake. I'm glad you said that, because I read that and I was like, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I know Shiitake, but I don't know Maitake. So this is a new mushroom for me.
Yeah, so Maitake is known as a dancing mushroom because it has so many health benefits, as do them all, to be fair. But it's supposed when people find it in the woods, it entices you to dance, because you're so happy to find a mushroom that has all these health-giving properties. So
love it.
Yeah. So with Maitake, it's a very powerful antiviral as well. So anything viral related, Maitake is known to be really good for. Also, insulin resistance and PCOS, which is what I love, because there's very few supplements on the market that really home in on PCOS, which is highly linked to insulin resistance. And there was a recent trial done with Maitake mushroom, whereas there was 26 women in the trial who were unable to ovulate because they were struggling with PCOS. They were given traditional medicine, which didn't have any benefit. And then when they took 2 grams of Maitake mushroom for 12 weeks, 20 of the 26 women successfully ovulated.
Wow.
So, so really, really good for insulin. And insulin resistance is a real problem for weight management.
This is a pandemic in itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many people are now getting type 2 diabetes because of really poor diet, because of lack of exercise? These are the things. This is why we have to have these conversations and, create awareness, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads on nicely to diabetes. It's a great one for, it was improving blood glucose levels and improving blood sugar management in the body as well. So people who want to naturally manage type 2 diabetes, Maitake mushroom. And a lot of the trials have shown as little as 2 grams a day, which like in the capsules and powders I use, that's 2 to 4 capsules a day, and a teaspoon of the powder each day, which is affordable and manageable. You're not having to take a supplement 3 times a day or 12 capsules a day. It is quite manageable to do it that way. Yeah. I'm checking, what was the other one on Maitake and again, because of its antiviral, like I say, immune support. So predominantly immune support, insulin resistance and blood sugar management with Maitake that people see better.
All the things that we need, really. Do you think people don't really need to take them if they are relatively okay with, say, their blood sugar management? Like, some of this stuff that we're talking about needs to be for people that might be struggling with, say, their blood sugar levels, or right? Would you say, or are some of these? I mean, I take lion's mane, hopefully not because I'm that thick, but because I want to enhance my cognitive function. So I'm assuming some of these mushrooms are, for kind of enhancement, and then some are preventative and some are curative.
Exactly. So what I find with mushrooms, all six, you tend to find across all six mushrooms, they all offer like immune supporting benefits. But I would tend to like Chaga just tends to be like an overall good tonic, as does Reishi, which I'll go on to next, and Cordyceps. Then you'd home in more with your Maitake if you were looking specifically at blood sugar management or insulin resistance, which is a huge thing now because of the Western diet. You know,
Yeah.
alcohol, it's all affecting. You know, we're seeing these things commonly. And I think as soon as you think of insulin resistance or blood sugar management and diabetes, people think prescriptive medication, when actually it's awareness that there are some high quality mushrooms out there you know, a relatively, you know, manageable daily dose. There's proven health benefits with them. So yeah, the
Amazing.
reason these mushrooms have been on the planet for thousands of
There
years.
is. Yeah, they're way wiser than we are, for sure. That's it's beginning to show. I'm just glad that they're getting a chance to hit the spotlight now, and I'm glad that people are beginning to recognize that there are other ways, you know, that you can incorporate things into your protocol that are natural and, you know, and easy, actually convenient.
And we're just behind the curve in the UK, unfortunately. They've gone huge in America for a number of years. I worked for a great supplements company about 6 years ago now, and we had to discontinue a fantastic mushroom product because it just wasn't selling. I think people were just like, you know, why would I be taking medicinal mushrooms? But you know, Russia, Siberia, Asia, China, Japan, they're part of the staple diet. They've been used for hundreds of years. So yeah. So, but conscious of time, so I'll move on to the next two. The next one is reishi.
Yeah.
So interestingly, in Chinese medicine, so covering everything, not just mushrooms, reishi is seen as the number one supplement, if you will, in Chinese medicine.
Right. Overall. So,
yeah, really number one of everything that adaptogens and everything that Chinese medicine covers, it rates reishi as number one. And whereas you would take cordyceps in the morning because it's like a strengthening tonic, you would tend to take reishi later in the day because it's a calming tonic. So really good for insomnia, calming a busy mind before bed, for anxiety, also really good for the nervous system. So, you know, anxiety, anyone with nerve disorders as well, just because it's very calming and soothing for the body. And it's known in Chinese medicine as the mushroom of immortality.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, really, really powerful. It's because of all the 6 mushrooms, it's the most anti-inflammatory. And as I always speak about on my IG lives, the key to a happy, healthy life is keeping inflammation as low as possible in the body. You know, disease from the common cold to chronic cancers cannot exist without inflammation in the body. Yeah. So reishi there is the most anti-inflammatory, but it's also really good, which is great for this time of year, for hay fever and allergies. So
which kind of fits into the inflammation categories, although people might not put the two together, but they do, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And liver support, which again is, you know, I think the liver a lot is overlooked in the body. And, you know, we focus more on the heart and the lungs, but the liver is it's so important in the body.
That is the king. Hormone. That is the king in terms of organs, isn't it? It is the main organ.
Really, really is. And, you know, again, keeping your liver functioning optimally is so important for your health. And in the current day and age with alcohol, stress, smoking, recreational drugs, processed food, the liver is daily put under so much pressure. So if we can support it with the anti-inflammatory properties of reishi and its liver supporting properties, I think you've got a great tonic there that I honestly feel most people would benefit from taking reishi mushroom. So
amazing.
And then the last one I'm going to cover on my list is Shiitake, which is known as the fragrant mushroom because it's used in cuisine. It's eaten a lot. Shiitake mushroom It's actually quite easy to get, even Tesco's. And I was
yeah. Well, this will be interesting because I think people probably use shiitake mushrooms as a means of, if they're making something, it almost looks a bit posher than the usual button one, or the chestnut mushroom. I always think, when you have something that's got shiitake mushrooms in it, it's a bit posh, this, because they are a lot more expensive. So actually it'll be interesting because probably people have had this in their food and not realize the medicinal benefits. So if you can shed some light on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so and shiitake, as well as it looking good and impressing your dinner guests, it is great to put in food because it's amazing.
Easily pleased me, Kate. Easily pleased.
So yeah, it's really, really good for digestive support. And why I love shiitake is it's so good for a yeast overgrowth in the gut known as candida. Now, most people have candida in their gut, and symptoms would be the more acute in some people than others, but common symptoms of candida are bloating, sugar cravings, brain fog, because it's a yeast that grows in the gut. It feeds on sugars, so that's why it wants to be fed, so it'll stimulate sugar cravings in people. Because it's a yeast, it also causes brain fog and bloating, and it feeds on foods like all forms of sugars, even sugars in fruit, yeast, wheat, alcohol. An anti-candida diet is almost a near impossibility.
Yeah, it is.
So much you need to cut out of your diet. So my protocol with working with people with candida, there's a certain strain of probiotic that I use and shiitake mushroom, because candida is so robust at surviving in the gut. It has like a microfilm around it, which can be quite difficult to break down.
It means business, basically. It's not going.
Yeah. Whereas shiitake mushroom actually breaks down that microfilm on the yeast, and then if you combine that with the right probiotic, Saccharomyces boulardii, you'll tend to find that it's really effective at breaking down the candida, and people will just find they get greater brain clarity, bloating will go down, sugar cravings will decrease. So yeah, shiitake mushroom is really, really good for that.
And if people were eating this, obviously we're talking about the type that you would put in food, but how much of it would you need to eat for it to be therapeutic?
It's difficult to determine with an actual shiitake mushroom because it just depends on the quality.
Yeah. And does it change because it's been cooked as well?
Yes, it will. So it will change some of it. They're quite robust mushrooms, but it will change some of its properties. If you're taking it in supplement form, like I said, the powders I work with, you'd be looking at 2 to 4 capsules a day or 2 grams of the powder. There's just been a new product come onto the market called Candy X. If anyone wants further details, just DM me. And that cleverly combines like oregano, shiitake mushroom, and probiotics. And I've had tremendous results with that for people.
Okay, so that's actually combining several aspects and therapies rather than just looking at mushrooms specifically, which is really clever. And I think that's the way the world needs to go. Because I know we talk, if you look at just my profile grid, and I know looking at yours, we're talking about so many different aspects that people sometimes are going, oh my God, wait, so adaptogens, and then you've got different types of mushrooms, and then you've got herbs, and then you've got plants, and like what's going on? So I think if people can actually have an option of trying to find something that works where a lot of those things are combined, it would be quite convenient.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a really powerful combination for candida. And a great final point to make on shiitake is it's statins. It's good at balancing HDL and LDL cholesterol. I could talk for an hour on statins. I won't get on that pedestal now.
No, please don't. My mum's on them, and I definitely chew her ear off all the time. So.
Yeah, and I just really encourage people that, red yeast rice and shiitake, there is actual scientifically approved trials showing its effectiveness for balancing HDL and LDL cholesterol and being a natural statin without any of the side effects that that prescriptive statins have. So a really good one for anyone who's concerned about, they want some digestive support, concerned with yeast overgrowth in the gut, or they've got any concerns around the cholesterol. And it's as little as 2 to 4 grams a day, with the trials done with Shiitake to show real improvements in balancing good and bad cholesterol in the body.
Amazing. So just for anyone that might have missed the first, I know there's a couple of people that joined later on, please check out the replay. We've literally covered 6 unbelievable mushrooms that all have different benefits, that all have different properties that can absolutely help you in your everyday. Some are for preventative use, some are for curative use. Most of them are for enhancing a certain aspect of our bodily function to just function optimally generally. So please check out, there'll be a link on this post. So check out Divine Alchemy Supplements. That's where you will get all of these that we've talked about in the powder form. But for sure, if you don't follow Kate, follow her and also DM her for any questions. Thinking Deeper followers get a few extra added bits. So make sure that when you do order with her, you let her know that you are ordering from this live. We're going to do a lot more of these calls regularly, just so that we can keep hopefully creating the awareness, educating people. I was just checking for questions. And of course, there was one guy, I'm sure he's one of your followers, Kate. He's a Mellow Fellow 123.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, you know him. That's why I'm glad you just kind of went, oh, yeah. Actually, funnily enough, he did say, do you get them in Dubai? So, of course you do. You get them anywhere. I've just placed an order and mine are arriving tomorrow. So that's how fast it is. And she'll give you a breakdown of why you should be taking what and, you know, how it benefits you and how to take it. And you've got that support. So, and it's very easy. It's a very, very simple process. So there aren't any other questions other than Shirley's just very quickly said, are there any that are specifically good to aid collagen? So would we go back to Chaga then for that?
Yeah, with collagen production, which is one of my specialist topics, you're looking more at hyaluronic acid, which you can feel free to DM. I actually have an actual skin protocol for collagen. Collagen will be more your hyaluronic acid, your silica, your MSM, and vitamin C. Chaga, if you're looking at skin, Chaga is melanin production. So protecting your skin from the sun. So yes, skin is Chaga, but like I say, it's more protected towards anti-age in the skin rather than collagen production. If people are on the call and they just want to benefit from mushrooms as a general well-being tonic, the blends are always a great option to go for. You know, there's a lot of really good quality blends out there which have anything from like 2 to 6 mushrooms in them, so that's a great option as well.
And quick question from Tina, do you ship to the US?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
US,
of course,
Hong
we
Kong.
will ship anywhere you want.
Yeah, we've had just going to Hong Kong last week for the first time. So yeah, got a global distribution warehouse now. So just feel free to DM me. Like I say, always say if you've been on this call, because there's some additional benefits for people of being on the call for their orders as well.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, listen, thank you, Kate. I know it's late for you over there in Dubai, so always appreciate this time. But to be honest, we could listen to you all night as well. So it's not just that you're passionate about talking about these specific things. We literally are. Tina, I'll talk to you separately from this call just to get your order put through. Don't worry. Worst case, you can tell me what it is and I will get it delivered to your doorstep. So don't worry about that. Okay. Kate, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call and joining us and sharing your views and asking the questions, because that's what we're about. Yeah. We will see you next week. Kate, have a wonderful week, as will you all that are on this call. And it's great to see you all. See you soon. Take care.
Guys. Bye. Bye.